You're listening to a Countout Podcast. All right. What are we talking about today?
Royal Quest, but we can touch on KOPW a little bit because it was a great show. But
talk about ZSJ. Are you leading this?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Perfect. Okay. Ready? Anything else before we go?
I should probably bring up the the match listing for Royal Quest while we're here, because.
Oh yeah, I got it in front of me.
Oh, okay.
Did you go to Global Wars at all the night before?
No, I wanted to, but wasn't able. Like I said, I had people not people. I had a person crashing with me all week, and so it was pretty tough to do anything like that. But that's okay.
Yeah,
I did want to see Global Wars. We were going to go to Global Wars until King of Pro Wrestling got added.
Yeah,
or not King of Pro Wrestling. Sorry, Royal Quest got added.
Yeah, I did not realize Global Wars was happening, and let alone the fact that the main event was Ishii versus Luke Jacobs.
Yeah,
I love Luke Jacobs. Have we talked about? I'm a big fan of Rev Pro.
No, yeah, you said you've got the Rev Pro streaming service, but like, yeah, I didn't know you were like a big fan of Rev Pro, which is fucking awesome because Rev Pro rules.
I know, dude. It's great. It's probably my favorite indie.
It's definitely like it should be your favorite indie because it's so professional and so well done. Like,
well, the production leaves much to be desired. Maybe that'd be a talking point of this episode.
I'll say that. You're right there.
But it is, I mean, compared to like American indies, I like it way more because realistically, American indies is just like GCW, obviously, is the big thing.
Which is, it's so big, it's almost not an indie anymore.
Yeah, it's like it's a major indie, major minor indie. It's so, I don't know.
This is stuff we can save for the podcast, actually.
Oh, does it help that I'm already recording?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Should I play the music then?
I mean, unless you want to play more Soundgarden.
I probably can't for the audio, so I'm just gonna play the music.
That's true. That's true.
Here we go, baby.
Hey.
Ichiban Sweetcast. Ichiban. Ichiban Sweetcast.
Thank God you saved that. Hey, everybody. Welcome. What's up? Hello around the world. This is Curtis Spears, your good friend Curtis Spears, and I'm joined today not by your bad friend Rafe Houston, but by the absolute maniac Ryan Neitzey. What would you say, godfather of the Countout Podcasting Network?
Yeah, I love cannolis. If I'm gonna have some, put it in the back of the car. That's my style, as you can tell by my energy. I'm sort of the good father, you know, the little good father, the good on hands, you know.
Leave the audio file, take the cannoli.
Yes, that is me. That is me. Or as I call myself on Ring Post Radio, I believe as Scotty dubbed me on Ring Post Radio, the voice of the tasteless. So
we're having fun. We're having fun.
That's what Countout is. It's we're having fun over here.
And we're here to talk about the current New Japan best show of the year, I think, in my personal opinion. That's New Japan's Royal Quest 4. Man, and it was King of Pro Wrestling the week before. I was like, that's the best show of the year so far. And then, holy shit, Royal Quest 4. And it might just be because I was there. The atmosphere was electric. We were having so much fun, screaming our fucking lungs out at the no, not the Copper Box. Oh, I almost said the Copper Box. At the Crystal Palace Sporting Auditorium, or whatever the hell it's called.
Yes.
We were having an absolute blast. What a show. What a time hanging out. It was like a content creator's dream. Sonal from YouTube was there. Kieran RH,
Yep.
Twitter monster, Kieran RH was there.
New Japan's greatest rival, Kieran, was there.
Oh yeah, TV Asahi's number one worst enemy, and then Joel from the Super J Cast and myself,
Mhm.
and I mean it was just a ton of people who all love New Japan were there. It was a beautiful moment in time. It really was, as is Royal Quest every year, but I think this year was probably the best complete show that they've put on. We had an absolute blast, and you got to. Did any of that come across on the video when you were watching it? I know that RevPro's, we've talked about it. RevPro's production leaves a little bit to be desired.
Yeah,
but I mean, we also I did see Chris Charlton up in the booth doing commentary. So did that add any sort of like New Japan flavor to it?
You know, I'll say this is that I actually did not even think about watching this on RevPro's streaming service, despite the fact that I pay for it. I watched this on New Japan streaming service, the highly lauded New Japan World streaming service. I believe on the show.
Well.
I have a rant about New Japan's World streaming service, so I'm glad I'm here on the show. Also, thank you for having me, Curtis. I know Raffe is no longer with us. He had a birthday celebration.
He is still alive.
Oh, he is. Okay, I thought he had a birthday celebration that he drank so much that he exploded. That's what I assumed that happened. I just assumed that this would happen.
Actually, I was looking at his wife's Instagram stories the other day, and they were in somewhere in Japan, in Nihon, and they saw a nemesis from Resident Evil, like was.
Huh?
Like an 8-foot tall, like real life nemesis from Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, they're dead now.
They're dead
because they didn't have their rocket launcher.
You know what's going
to when you don't have the rocket launcher, you lose.
What sucks about that is that I believe what I saw I also saw his wife's Instagram story, and I believe what I saw was that Raffe went to run away, and then he had to go back to grab something, and when he went back to grab something, he slipped and broke his arm again. So I think that's.
No.
You know, you hate to see that happen. You hate to see a guy. It was the other one too, and it's it's like that SpongeBob thing where it's like that SpongeBob thing where he's like born of broken skin and paper legs, whatever the hell it is. It didn't happen. That didn't happen, folks.
That might be the first SpongeBob reference we've had on the show so far.
Look, if there's anything that Ryan Neitzey is going to bring, it's Nickelodeon cartoons to a podcast, I guess. I don't know. Is that my thing? I guess that's my thing. But my wife I don't know. You grew up in Georgia, correct?
No. My parents are both from Georgia. I grew up in Colorado and Wyoming, in that area. But
Western Georgia.
I've spent many a year in Georgia.
Western Georgia, if you will. Maybe not Colorado anymore. But I don't know if there was a thing with your parents or anything, but my wife growing up was banned from watching SpongeBob.
Really?
Yeah. She grew up with an Irish, Polish, Catholic family, so they're never gonna hear this. So they were a little.
Are you saying they're not fans? They're not fans?
To my knowledge, I have yet to have a deep Puro conversation with anyone, let alone a WWE conversation with anyone. So I don't think I'm gonna be having that Puro conversation anytime soon. But yeah, it was like banned in their household because it was I think too adult is what the banning was that it was too adult, too mature, and I'm like, it's a kids show. What are you talking about? So I don't know. Maybe they talked about butts too much. I don't really know. But anyways, we're on a tangent for sure.
Too mature. There's an entire episode that's about SpongeBob ripping his pants and how they thinks that's funny.
Yeah, I don't get it. As someone that grew up on it, I don't understand. Anyways, we were talking about RevPro.
Yeah. Back to RevPro, ladies and gentlemen.
So I never even thought about watching a RevPro. I watched them on New Japan World's app. And they only had, I believe, the Japanese feed on there. I assume the English feed was on RevPro's streaming service. I don't actually. I guess I could check. Would that be a professional? Probably. I just watched.
As long as we can tap dance and just keep the air like as long as you're not silent while you're searching for it, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, of course. No, brother, I'm a professional over here. I know what I'm doing, obviously, all times. So I can definitely says watch now. 4 hours and 1 minute. Ooh, right on the dot. I can only presume that it is in English. I can do a quick audio check. Yeah, that's Andy Quillen talking. So yeah. Oh no, it wasn't Andy. That was I think it was Gideon Gray.
It was Charlton.
Oh, it was
Oh, was it
Gideon Gray
Gideon
was
Gray?
the other guy. Yeah, no. So I watched it in Japan, and in Japan, it was just the Japanese commentary, which is fine. You know, it's whatever. I would have enjoyed the Rev Pro commentary a little bit more. I think I would have got more out of it for sure. Did the crowd excitement come across? I think it did. It does have the barrier of the Rev Pro Classic microphone streaming stuff, where it visually comes across, but audibly, it doesn't come across too much, which is always a shame. And, you know, I don't want to come on this podcast and talk about Rev Pro and their production services, because I think that's been talked to death on every single podcast that I've done, at least. Everyone wants it to be better, but I don't know what's gonna change over there. I think it visually came across, audio wise, it left a little bit to be desired, I guess.
Well, what about the card? Did the card carry the through the production issues? Did the card carry the excitement?
A little bit. I thought the production issues, you know, other than just the standard, like, you can't really hear so much of everything, and like the camera quality isn't not too great. There was a certain point, I want to say it started in the LIJ 6-man. Not the semi-main event, but the third to the top of the card. I want to say it was on there that a audio glitch started happening. I think it was like a clicking sound or something that kept happening and that I think lasted at least till the main event, I think.
Oh no.
Yeah. So the best part of the card is when it's like, oh darn it, I can't. If the audio was bad before, it's definitely not great now.
And the crowd was, I think, most alive during that 6-man that you're talking about. I mean, I personally started the Robbie chants with that one. Like, there was a ton going on. We were having so much fun, like, you know, ribbing the wrestlers and stuff like that. It was, if you guys weren't able to hear it, it's gonna look like they're just standing around fucking yanking their puds for a while.
You can definitely still hear the crowd.
Okay.
I assumed I assume all the content creator people were all sitting next to each other, or similarly next to each other.
No, we were all across from each other. Like, I don't know where Sonal and Kieran and Joel were like across the way from me. So like they were 200 feet away. But yeah, they were over on the production side. They were on the hard cam side, whereas I was on the other side. Well, I was where Shooter came out at, actually.
Yeah.
Funny story. My wife was one of the people that got to reach out and have contact with young Shooter, but
I gotta rewatch.
I had to warn her ahead of time. You know, hey, oof. He's got a rep. Okay,
he's got a rep right nowadays. Well, I don't know if is you gotta warn her or you gotta warn yourself. You know, you're gonna be the guy that's gonna have to put him out of action for a couple tournaments, maybe.
Yeah, I know. Hey,
allegedly,
brother. No, she was so funny because Sipsy, a good friend of the podcast, Sipsy, what up, Sipsy? He sent a photo. I was going to get drinks at the time, and he goes, "You took the wrong moment to go to the head, bro," and sent me a picture, and it's my wife reaching over and touching Shooter. And I'm like, honey, did you fist bump Shooter? And she goes, no, I just wanted to touch his jacket.
It always, hey, look. It always starts at the jacket, and then you never know where the jacket's gonna lead. Hold on.
Yeah, well.
Hey now. I what I was gonna say was that I can definitely figure out that Joel was on camera side, because 100% recognizable voice, heard him on the audio clear as day yelling T-shirt Naito over and over again.
Oh yeah, there was a and it's funny because Robbie played it up, like we were talking about, T-shirt Robbie and stuff. Mm-hmm. Robbie played it up.
Yeah.
Naito's like, nah, fuck that, bro.
Yeah.
No, he's like, you're getting T-shirt Naito.
And Robbie didn't even take the shirt off, to be fair. Yep. So, he's in the doghouse as well, I think.
Yeah. Well, we love Robbie. We're a very pro Robbie podcast here today. So let's just go through the card. Did you get to see the pre-show match with Youngblood?
Yes, I did see. I watched everything, every inch of this, all 4 hours and 1 minute. I watched every inch of this, Curtis.
Okay.
Look,
So yeah,
I'm a like I said, I'm a professional. I watch everything over on Ring Post Radio. That's my plug. Go ahead.
So you're not pulling a Rafe where I have to tap dance around the shit that you just decide not to watch.
No, brother. If you're telling me I gotta watch something, I'm watching everything. And yeah, no, we're good. We're good.
That's fair. So what did you think of the opening match? I'm a big fan of Youngblood. I think that they're a fantastic young tag team. I can't wait for. I was hoping that they would show up after the tag titles match and kind of get in TMDK's face. Maybe they may not be ready back, to come back for World Tag League, but I was kind of hoping. But yeah, no, I love Youngblood. I'm not such a huge fan of the Greedy Souls. I think that they're kind of bland. But well, yeah, what do you think about the young men who are on excursion right now, and how do you think they're coming along?
I think they're coming along. I think they're certainly coming along. I like the Greedy Souls. I like them. I think they have a good little act there going. Youngblood, I think they're definitely getting better, definitely improving. I think they're still they're not green anymore, but they have advanced beyond green, but they're still not, I think, the great tier yet. But their confidence, and especially Yuta's charisma, confidence has gotten way better. So I think there's definitely I can obviously see improvements from them. I don't know if they're definitely not coming back to New Japan level yet. I think maybe another year if they want to bring them back early. I know New Japan's been talking about bringing these guys back early, but if they wanted to wait a little bit longer, I think you could wait another year on them at least to let them simmer a little bit more. Because I think also at some point I wouldn't be shocked, especially with a win over the Greedy Souls here, if we're looking at Rev Pro side of things. Us being some Rev Pro fans over here, I think I wouldn't be shocked to see them go after the Rev Pro tag team titles.
Yeah, no, I think it would be very cool to see them have a bit of a run. I know they've got their own collection of belts, it was really cool to see Yuto being too cool to carry his belt.
I love
having
that.
Oscar come out with all 4 belts.
I love that by the way. I thought that was cool as hell.
But yeah, I would like to see them kind of be dominant, and maybe that was set back a little bit because Yuto did have a little injury issue a couple months ago.
Yeah,
glad that he's back. I really don't like it when someone who I'm rooting for kind of gets put out of action for quite a while. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants, although the return pop is always a little,
of course,
that's fun. You want that part. So yeah, the Greedy Souls, definitely a good tag team, a good measuring stick. Oscar is getting a lot more. He's still doing the same big power moves.
Yeah.
But he's looking a lot more confident. Yuto is, supremely confident. The kid is ready for a fight at all times, and I fucking love that.
I feel like Oscar, for me right now, it's not a huge disparity between them. I'm just pointing this out. I think Oscar for me is currently the better worker, but Yuto is the better charisma machine. If that makes sense.
That definitely
they're not a huge disparity, but I think it's something that as a tag team, they yin-yang themselves out here.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good way to put it. Oscar is, I still think, well, as far as charisma goes, Oscar's definitely a lot of fun to watch in the ring when he gets going, moving, 110 miles an hour, screaming at the top of his lungs in German. There's nothing like that. So much fun. But Yuto being a little bulldog and getting in everyone's face is fucking awesome. So.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to love Oscar more. I know for a fact down the line I'm gonna love this guy more. My peak of professional wrestling is speed and intensity, and I feel like Oscar can get that. I really love a Kyle Fletcher type. One of my favorite things is him doing that running leg lariat into the corner, where he's just running full speed at another guy and just destroys him. That's my my bread and butter right there. And I feel like Oscar, I don't think he's gonna, obviously not a working guy like Fletcher or Ospreay, any of these other guys, but he's gonna work differently. But I think he can have I think we got in Oscar a better version of, I'll say, Tala Tonga, Hikaleo. I think we'll like eventually we'll have a better version of that, and I'm into it. I'm there, you know.
Yeah, it's he's very close. He's very close. And yeah, comparing him to like an agile, fast big man is like, if that's where he's at, fuck yeah, we're set.
Yeah,
We're
well,
set. It's gonna
we
be
are,
really
as
good.
the kids say, cooking.
We're cooking. We're in the kitchen. And then so the next match was that was the women's tag team match, yes?
No, the
You've got
next
the
match was Taiji Shimori and Robbie X, new Bullet Club heel member Robbie X, versus tag team I've never heard of, CPF, Danny Black and Joe Lando.
I don't know Joe Lando. I love Danny Black. Danny Black is a big comic book nerd. The first time I saw him, he came out dressed as Daredevil.
That's cool.
Instead of the DD on his shirt, it was DB, which was money. I love Danny Black. I have my friend Paul is a huge Danny Black nerd. He comes around all the locals, UKPW. Trying to think of some of the other locals, but I can't right now. But yeah, Danny Black's a big thing over here.
Have you beat his ass in Blood Bowl yet?
Paul's all the time. He's gonna hate that. No,
I don't care. Good. Get good, my guy.
yeah, no. Paul's son is the one you got to worry about. Paul's son's a monster. Anyway, no, yeah, Danny Black, great wrestler. I wasn't familiar with Joe Lando's game. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This CPF close personal friends. Okay.
Sure.
Sure. Why not? Okay. I mean, anything can work. If you can get it over, you can get it over, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Taiji Shimori comes out full bone soldier. This is X. Who could X be? And we get Robbie X's music. It just makes sense.
A good bit.
I'm so excited to see Robbie
bit.
X. I'm so excited to see Robbie X in the Junior Tag League, which starts today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
It was just a couple hours ago. So I've got to actually wake up and watch that. But Robbie X is one of those dudes. I think he's going to be able to have a lot of fun in Japan, get over quite a bit in Japan. He's going to have that sort of that same sort of energy with him that really gets Americans and Europeans over in Japan, where they really adapt to the culture. It's not just what you can do in the ring. You've got to go over there. You've got to tweet in Japanese. You've got to, really like do everything you can to ingratiate yourself into the Japanese audience. And I think that Robbie X is going to be able to do that. He is a ton of fun to watch. He's so light on his feet.
Yeah.
He's so smooth in everything he does, and to put him with Taiji Shimori, who is just as fast, just as agile, just as smooth in the ring, even if he is getting a little bit older and losing a step.
Yeah, probably not as fast, but close.
Yeah. I mean, he was, but yeah, they're cut from the same sort of mold. I wonder if we're at some point going to see Robbie X try to break out that superstar elbow that Taiji Shimori used to do back in Noah.
Yeah.
If so, and it wins them a big spot to maybe make it through their block to the block finals or something like that, that would be really cool. I think he's gonna really show out. The New Japan's not going to be the first time we've seen him on a massive stage. When they brought back World of Sport shortly before the pandemic, Robbie X was on World of Sport. He was impressive as shit then. He's always been impressive since I've been here. I think he was one of the first people I saw when I first moved to England. But yeah, he's someone who I love to see really show out, really get a big stage with the Super Junior Tag League. So I'm amped. I'm hype about it.
I feel like Robbie X has been around forever, and according to Cage Match, he's 29.
Yeah, but I mean, when you've got so many, England's as big as a state.
Yeah. But
there's so many, it's so compact, and so many people and so many wrestling companies that operate not just here, but of course, you've got Europe just a hop, skip, and a jump away. You've got Ireland and Scotland and Wales, and you can go all over and just hone your craft. Even if he started wrestling at 18, he's an 11-year pro already.
No, Curtis, he's a 17-year pro.
Oh my God.
So if we do 29 his age minus 17, he started at 12.
He started at 12.
He's a
the kid.
17-year that I was first thinking, I was like, I feel like I've heard about Robbie X forever. But remember when he wore a mask at one point in time? I've been
He
hearing about
did,
this guy
yeah.
forever.
During the old world of sport, he used to wear a mask. Maybe he's got like something he wanted to hide or something. They were like, "Oh no, we can't have psoriasis or whatever." I don't know.
Yeah.
He recently he has really toned down his body. He used to be a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
He's slimmed down. He's more compact, muscly. He's really come into his own lately. Like when you hit that 29, like that's the beginning of your like dad strength, that man strength coming in. Like you're about to hit your physical prime, and I think he's the right time for him to go hit New Japan. It's going to be really awesome.
I fully agree, and I'm glad you brought up the Ishimori aspect of it all. You know, Ishimori obviously is somebody that, as a heel and a Bullet Club guy in New Japan, that his style obviously changed and evolved a little bit to work more of that heel stuff. And obviously being older, like away from a lot of the Noah high flying stuff. But I think as like a sort, if you view it as almost like a teacher student relationship, hopefully with Robbie X and Taiji Ishimori, I really like the potential there. Like, I really think that like Robbie X could be someone similar to a old Ishimori and Noah back in the day. And if he teaches him all the stuff, all the tricks of that trade, then I think Robbie X can succeed. The one thing I am, I guess, concerned about, just because I don't know, is heel Bullet Club Robbie X.
Ooh,
I don't know
yeah.
what that looks like. And obviously in the crowd here, the crowd was super for Robbie X and everything. So I don't think this crowd here for it was anything to judge by, because everyone was cheering for him. How is heel Robbie X in Japan, going to look like? And I simply do not know. And I am fascinated to see what that will look like.
Yeah, that's, I hadn't thought about that. Like he wasn't exactly wrestling like a heel. So
No.
he was just doing his own, he was just doing his same shtick. Wow, that is a good question. Is he going to be able to actually make the jump to wrestling like a heel? Is he going to do a lot of like Randy Orton fucking rest holds and shit?
Yeah.
Because that's not the Robbie X we want to see.
Exactly. And even then it's like, once like Ospreay as somebody like turns heel, it came at an exact moment where he was also like evolving his style to be more like striker based and more like a little bit more power heavy. And 29, I don't think Robbie X should evolve his style to that point. I think, if you can keep going, if your joints are still holding up, I would like to see this man still fly around the ring.
Yeah.
But he's also a heel and he needs to be booed. So has he ever, I'm trying to think, has he ever worked heel before?
I've never seen him work as a heel. No, I can't think of his style just lends so well to being, the big baby face, like huge spot machine. And I hope that he doesn't. I hope that he doesn't. You know what? Let him wrestle the whole way. And if they want to love him, they can love him. The Bullet Club is evolving, right? Because there's the three versions of Bullet Club right now. You've got, or four, even if you really want to count the dudes from
your favorite promotion
from Oceania.
Oh,
then you can. Oh, so there's
Five.
There's the House. There's the War Dogs. There's whatever's going on with Taiji Ishimori.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess he does align himself sometimes with the War Dogs, but he's not a War Dog.
Well, I'm looking at the the Super Junior Tag League Night 1. So they didn't have a tag league match. They had a 6-man: Ishimori, Robbie X, and Gato, famously aligned with War Dog General David Finlay. So it's just sort of like, what is this form of Bullet Club? 'Cause the non-branded Bullet Club is what? Taiji Ishimori, Robbie X, and Chase Owens?
I know, because I think Chase Owens goes with the Rogue Army Bullet Club, because he's
does he? Like, I mean, he was never like
he's
a part of
Filet's
like
boy.
that stuff, in terms of like the steel cage match and everything.
Yeah, I guess that's true. He's Fale's boy. Like, I can't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Is he Oceanic? Is he Oceanic guy? Is he honorary Tongan? Is he part of the bloodline?
Oh man, who even knows anymore? I mean, it is time to start getting that shit worked out.
Yeah.
Fully separate House of Torture from the Bullet Club. Have, War Dogs, if they want to spin off and be their own, like, heel tweener sort of faction, and just maybe it's time to let Bullet Club as a faction die out, you know?
I'm surprised that they haven't yet. I think obviously part of it is like the marketing of it all, but like,
Yeah.
you know, House of Torture is like feels firmly like its own thing. It's like, you know, I know you're gonna hate this comparison, but it's like with in AEW where it was originally like Bullet Club Gold, and now it is fully like evolved into just Bang Bang Gang.
Oh, it's dog time, everybody. Hi, doggies.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage. Hold on, to the stage.
Yeah, to the pod. The pugs have run in. Hello, pugs.
The run-in has happened. I love it.
All right, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I love it. I was gonna say is that like similar to AEW where the Bullet Club Gold has firmly become like Bang Bang Gang sort of dropped that Bullet Club stuff. House of Torture feels like they're completely their own thing. War Dogs feel like they're completely their own thing. The Oceanic team, they're probably still Bullet Club. I mean, I don't think there's.
It's just it's just a catch-all. But like, are they now the NWO Black and White? You know?
So we got hold on. So we got NWO was House of Torture. NWO purple and black, I guess.
Yeah.
War Dogs green and white, I guess, because they're trying to do like a sort of a beret, military look.
Well, so if we do the direct comparable, which one is so NWO Hollywood would definitely be the House of Torture, because nobody wants to see them succeed. Everybody hates it. That's the full.
Sure. Yeah. I can agree with that.
Then we've got who would be the Wolfpack? I guess the War Dogs would be the Wolfpack.
I would agree with that.
Although, like, the Wolfpack were firmly baby faces.
Mm-hmm. Which one is late stage was he part of Wolfpack? Or am I just thinking it confusingly? Well, I was gonna say which one is late stage NWO Macho Man Randy Savage, where he's juiced out of his mind. But I don't think that was Wolfpack. I think he was just weird. He was just weirdly wearing red in 1999.
That was like when he was doing his like Macho Madness thing, when he come out with like a pink furry like pimp coat and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm confused, because there's a picture of him wearing like a red jumpsuit or something, and I think that's what I'm confusing it with.
The point is that Bullet Club being a catch-all is kind of, for a faction that was so popular for so long and such a big part of New Japan's golden age, like, it kind of sucks that it's become just a catch-all for everyone else who's not part of these other two giant factions, right?
Yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird. And how is Robbie X going to fit in that? I don't know. How is Robbie X going to work as a heel? I don't know. I guess it's a stay tuned and find out with this.
Stay tuned and find out. Well, yeah, if that Robbie X has certainly popped my excitement for Super Junior Tag League, which I do love Super Junior Tag League, but some of the people they have in it with Velocities being in it finally, and now we've get local boy Robbie X. I'm fucking amped. I'm amped.
I'll throw in Captain Suicida as well from CMLL.
Captain Suicida from CMLL. Yeah, we won't go ahead and translate that because we want to stay on Spotify. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, dude. I think this Super Junior Tag League is going to make a lot of noise, and I love it.
I hope so. These tag leagues in the fall are always sort of a little bit quiet. I mean, Super Junior Tag League obviously is louder than I think World Tag League. I think we can all agree there.
Yeah, Super Junior Tag League, at least we get to watch the flippy shit, and fucking I will fill my coffee cup with the flippy shit every day and sip from it happily, so it's all good. Let's go ahead and go on to the women's tag team match where we saw Danny Luna and Azumi versus Mina Shirakawa and Kanji.
Yes.
Big fan of this one. I've never seen Azumi live before. Was very excited about that. My wife's favorite wrestler in Rev Pro is Danny Luna, so that was awesome. Yeah. So we got to see world celebrity at this point, Mina Shirakawa, lose to Danny Luna. Danny Luna challenges again to get the undisputed British women's title back. Man, these it's so funny because people will say, oh, like Mina Shirakawa's all looks. I've heard she has great live show charisma, according to one observer. The people were all about it. I mean, like the English fans will always kind of default to cheering someone who's on like AEW a lot more.
Sure.
But I mean, you could just tell there was something special about Mina Shirakawa for sure. And maybe she is not as good as a lot of the women in Stardom, especially someone like an Izumi. But like, if you're a mid-level talent in Stardom, you're still better than like 98% of the women's wrestlers
Agreed.
in the world. You're still better than most wrestlers in the world.
I totally agree.
Regardless, so
because she's obviously like, you know, she has outstanding charisma, and
sure.
that is really what you know, especially as like the Western audience. That's really what's gonna make you interested in her. You know, I remember like on Ring Post Radio, like when we started it, we were covering Stardom at the time, and Mina Shirakawa wasn't like a popular act or anything yet. Even in like Stardom, she was just sort of like a mid-card person. And I was like one of the few people that were like, no, I think Mina Shirakawa's got something. I think she's got a great look, and I think she's got a great. Well, obviously she has a great look. I think we can all agree. But but I think like she has something here. And you know, she was just sort of seen as like an older hand veteran person because you know she is 36 years old.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
Yeah, and in Joshi, that is a grandma.
Yeah, dude.
But it was just one of those things of like, and this was like a couple years ago, so she was like 32, 33 or something like that. So like, you know, I was like, oh no, she's got something, and everyone's just like, nah, no, she's not that much. And then in Stardom, she slowly grew a group. Obviously worked with, you know, Mariah May, and that expanded really well. And then she got like her jaw broken, and she got a great promo which really endeared herself to the audience, and that really helped expose her to that Western audience. And just slowly but surely, brick by brick, has gotten to a point of being this sort of bigger international star via AEW, via Stardom, and obviously here in Rev Pro now by being the women's champion. I think she's really good. Azumi is great. That's a Tony the Tiger great right there. And Dani Luna, I think, is really solid. I really enjoy Dani Luna's work. Kanji, I don't know too much about Kanji. I've seen her here and there. I think she's solid. I think she might be the weakest of the four here, but I don't think she was bad or, you know, I think she was still good. I think
if she was the weakest of the four, it was definitely because she didn't have the personality of the other three.
It's a tough, you know, climb there.
Yeah, I think Kanji, like, she's great. She's great in the ring. I think if she can find that next level to a character, then she'll be great. So she'll be cruising.
Yeah, because what her gimmick is kind of like a shooter, sort of, not really shooter, really, but like a boxer shooter sort of thing. I think is what her gimmick is.
Yeah, a mixed martial artist here to prove, you know, the power of her chi against, you know, pro wrestling.
The power of her chi.
Yes, she is the Iron Fist.
She is the Iron Fist. That'd be good if her and Danny Black come out and do like a mixed tag where it's Daredevil and Iron Fist.
Oh, that'd be super. Oh man,
who do we pitch
all my
that
money?
To?
All my money, Andy. You want my money? Here's my money.
that is an audience of, well, at least one with Curtis. I mean, that would give me.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have a ton of money, but I'll give it to you. It's great.
Look, are we running a show on Halloween? Can we run a show on Halloween? Is that something we could do and have the mixed tag there? I think that's the gimmick.
The gimmick. I mean, did you notice that CPF came out dressed as the X-Men?
Is that what the gimmick was? I wasn't quite sure. It looked like they had a monster on their tights, and I was kind of confused by it.
Oh yeah, no, they were definitely, they had X-Men inspired gear. It was all like yellow and blue with like accents of red in it.
Oh yeah. I guess it's
Go back and watch it.
Mixed women's tag here, really good. Women wrestling, really good. Azume's great. Mina Shirakawa's great. Dani Luna, really great here. Doing great in TNA, the remnants of TNA, and Kanji. Hey, look, she's getting there,
working on it and working her way up, and I loved it. All four of these women did great.
Agreed.
So next match, what do you think?
Kosei Fujita, Michael Oku.
Brother. This was the match I was probably second most excited for. I love Kosei Fujita. I am unabashedly a Michael Oku fan. I know that the dude is very
polarizing,
melodramatic. There's lots of over the top facial expressions and things like that, but I love him.
The pugs hate Michael Oku.
The pugs not Michael Oku fans. Teddy not a Michael Oku fan. But I am. So
I am also a Michael Oku fan. You've got the right person on the podcast here today. I am
good.
also a Michael Oku fan. You know, have I seen a Michael Oku title match that was a little overindulgent? Sure.
A couple of times.
A couple of times. There's a couple ones where it's like, we don't have to go 30 minutes against Anthony Ogogo. That's fine. That's fine. I got the idea. But I think that he is still really good, and I think you can't obviously deny the crowd connection. And did you watch him in CMLL when he had that tour?
I did see. I got to watch the big match that he had at Arena Mexico. I didn't watch the entire tour.
Okay, I watched bits and pieces of that tour, and you could see like him get more and more confident and create more and more of that crowd connection. Not to that level of Rev Pro, but I think obviously he is good at that. If he ends up going to AEW, I thought he signed. I don't know what's happening anymore, but if he ends up going to AEW, I'm sure he can do the same thing there. Kosei Fujita is actually really good. I was kind of shocked that Fujita won here for twofold. One, knowing like how protected Michael Oku is in Rev Pro, I didn't really expect him to lose to top faction, I guess, of New Japan right now. But still like a junior, and not saying that Michael Oku is a heavyweight by any stretch of that imagination. But, I was just sort of shocked by that, especially then after I saw the results. Apparently, Michael Oku the night before on Global Wars became the #1 contender for the Rev Pro title. And I was just sort of like, okay, so now he's also, the #1 contender is also losing to Kosei Fujita. And I was sort of confused by that.
Hey, man, maybe Michael Oku beats Jacobs for the belt, and then, we get a rematch with Kosei Fujita, and Fujita gets to carry the Rev Pro title around during the Super Junior Tag League.
No, this is what I'm talking about. I'm saying Kosei Fujita has beaten Michael Oku. He is now no longer the #1 contender. Give me Kosei Fujita versus Luke Jacobs, baby.
You just blew my mind. You just blew my fucking mind. Yeah, no, I'm into that. I don't know. It's all chaos. I was not expecting Fujita to win.
Me neither.
I don't know where it's going, but man, I'm into it. I'm fucking into it.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a dominant win, but it was. I mean, you could really feel it building there.
Yeah.
Oku always does the like come from behind sort of babyface role there. So I was like, oh no, this is just a really good build towards an Oku victory.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no shame to, like you said, Oku's very protected in Rev Pro. There's no shame to losing to him. People may look at him and not take him seriously because he's a very compact man. He would be a junior in New Japan if that's where he went.
100%.
But like he's got something where he's able to overcome.
Yeah.
He's able to rise above, his looks. He's got charisma boiling out of his ears. So like when you have Fujita beat him, and not just beat him, but beat him in a way that you're like, oh shit, he put him down.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was pretty great. I was really shocked. That was a moment for me. That was one of the only big social media posts that I try not to make a lot of social media posts during events.
Mm-hmm.
But that was one of the ones where I had to kind of stop and go, oh shit, like what else? What can't this kid do?
Yeah. And to me, could that be, that's obviously like, ignoring like wrestling politics and whatnot. But to me, that's sort of like a sign of Fujita, right? In terms of like New
Mhm.
Japan. And obviously we're going to Super Juniors, but look, man, I wouldn't be shocked if they win, especially with how hot TMDK is right now. I wouldn't be shocked if they win Super Juniors. Maybe, I guess, a little bit only simply because there's faces, the faces as the champions, and there's all that stuff. But I think we're just like around the corner of Kosei Fujita like breaking out into that sort of more junior division, starting to get some championships. Does he get a tag title run? Maybe. If not, throw him in a multi-man at Wrestle Kingdom and have him duke it out with everybody for those.
Yeah, Rafe and I have talked about we both want to see a multi-man junior title match
Mhm.
at Wrestle Kingdom. We've kind of gone back and forth about who we want to be in the 4. And he's convinced me 100% that Robbie and Fuge are winning the junior tag titles at Wrestle Kingdom, which would also be fucking awesome.
Totally plausible. Totally plausible.
I think having the face champions right now with the Jet Setters, man, you look at the amount of great tactical wrestling that would be in that match. You've got Robbie, Fuge, and Kushida.
Yeah.
Like the three juniors who, you know, are mat technicians and things like that. That would be a lot of fun to see something different. And then out of nowhere, Kevin Knight just, you know, he jumps, he hits pause when he's in midair, and he stays up there for 3, maybe 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Before he figures out where he wants to land and how. I love it. If he could just come out and be the high flying monster while these 3 dudes are you know, having a technical classic, I think that could be a really different sort of match. And I think it'd be a lot of fun.
And look, because I'm trying to remember if the Super Junior Tag League Challenge happens at Wrestle Kingdom anymore. I don't know if it does. I think they might have.
I think it did last year with Catch 22.
Okay,
yeah.
I couldn't remember. But if you wanna, if New Japan's scared of that being a babyface on babyface sort of thing, and they want to make it a 3-way to add another team, a heel team into that, I don't love it. But hey, look, Taiji Shimori and Robbie X are right there.
Boom.
And I think a Robbie X is the perfect guy to sort of fit into that mold that you just talked about, where, you know, you got the high flying action, you got Kevin Knight running over the corner and pulling out the remote from Click and hitting pause on it.
Yep.
Big Adam Sandler guy, that Kevin Knight. So it just sort of, you know, I think it'd be interesting to see what happens here. And obviously getting Fujita over a guy like Oku, I think, to me comes off of like, oh, New Japan, you know, it is like Royal Quest. It's not like a mainline show, quote unquote, you know, for New Japan per se. But to me, beating the biggest guy probably in Rev Pro, that tells me something. That tells me what they see in him.
Real quick, I know we're not an AEW podcast, but you're a big fan of AEW.
Yeah.
Do you see Oku fitting in over there? Because, like, I mean, for a long time, the rumor was just like Oku's on his way. When he lost the title to Jacobs, I was like, well, there we go.
Yeah, and then there was like the big old rumor that like he got signed and everything, and then I don't think he has shown up at all. He obviously did that AEW. What was it, in Glasgow, I think? But I think that was a dark match. Oh, no, it was not Glasgow. It was Cardiff, Wales. But that was a dark match, and he hasn't done anything. And that was even before the Rev Pro show, that dark match. So all that signing rumors is that, I don't know. I don't even know if they were real anymore. If he goes over there, would he fit? I think there are elements of where he would fit into the picture. I think his act could work, and I think his act will work with the crowd because American crowds love chanting and clapping. And so I think they will love Elku in that regard. The 30-minute stuff, obviously, I don't think you will be able to do that on television for him. So all the haters of Oku will be able to calm down because he will not be able to do your 30-minute classics over in AEW. That being said, my biggest gripe with AEW right now is the lack of tag teams. And I would like to see maybe more tag teams being formed. And I think there could be room for Michael Oku to come in and to ingratiate himself with the AEW audience by putting him with a tag team guy or a singles wrestler that isn't doing much and putting him into a tag team. What that tag team is, I have no idea. I don't know. Pick like Scorpio Sky. That guy's they're constantly trying to get him over. So maybe that will finally work with Scorpio Sky. But I don't know, something over there. I think he can work. I think it will work. I just don't know what the hell's happening with this contract stuff.
I did make a joke about Oku. He was in the merch line, and I said, "Oh, everybody, go get a picture with Oku before he fucks off to AEW and we never see him again." And Kieran, I was talking to Kieran at the moment, and he goes, maybe he goes to New Japan. I was like, huh? Maybe he does go to New Japan.
But maybe he goes to New Japan. He just lost to Kosei Fujita. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if he's going to New Japan, they obviously want him losing on the way in, you know?
Yeah, they're starting in a rough spot for him. I don't know. Fuge is he's the junior ace eventually.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we get Hiromu moving up into a open weight spot, and Despy, being the established ace, but Despy being like 40, 41 years old, somebody's got to move into that spot eventually.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely going to be Fujita.
I think it's Fujita. I fear that another person that can be, I say fear because I've never been big on his train, but that Best of Super Juniors final and closing stretch really helped him out. But Master Wato, the formation of the Grandmaster.
I'm a big Master Watto nerd, so I'm down with it. If we can have Fujin Watto for the next 10, 15 years, I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Is he officially the Grandmaster yet? I don't think he is.
No, he hasn't won any belts or anything yet. He's definitely still on his way to the Grandmaster.
Yeah. Last I checked, he's on the way to the Grandmaster. Is he in the third inning? What is he in the Roman Reigns inning thing? I don't know, but he's on the way.
Yeah, he's definitely still late in the first period. I think late in the first period of the hockey game to the Grandmaster.
Perfect.
Okay. So then next up we had a rematch. This is the third singles match I believe they had with Yota Tsuji and Drilla Maloney. What'd you think of this one? I'm pretty into how Maloney is obviously still a fucking heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's the biggest fucking junior weight that they've ever had in that company, and they like there've been times when like Shane and Mikey from TMDK were juniors and shit like that. Like this is that egregious.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he's crossed the threshold into Shingo as a junior.
Shingo as a junior, yeah.
I don't think he's crossed that territory yet, but it's definitely like budging up to that line for Drilla Maloney. I really like Drilla. I really like his look. I think he's one of the few wrestlers in the world that can pull off a neck tattoo. I think that his moveset is really nice. I think like I said, he's great look. Yota Tsuji, I'm a big fan of Yota Tsuji. I think the sad truth of Yota Tsuji is, however, I am a big fan of him. I'm one of the fellow gene blasters out here. I'm blasting my genes left and right for Yota Tsuji. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
And the problem though is that Oiwa just came in, and I'm like, oh man, Oiwa, I love Oiwa. So he might. Hold on. Can I ask you this question, Curtis? This is a bit we do on Link Post Radio. We've done this with like the four pillars every once in a while in AEW, but we also do that with the sort of like new crop of New Japan talent. And I'll ask you this now. I know obviously we have Shooter coming up, and I guess Oiwa down the line as well. Okay, rank.
Yep.
The 6. We're doing 6 here. Rank the 6. Whatever the extended Musketeers of New Japan currently. So you got. This is what I'm saying are the 6: Tsuji, Shooter, Ren Narita, Oiwa, Gabe Kidd, and who the hell am I missing? Who am I missing? Somebody. Who am I missing?
Yuya Uemura.
Yes, yes, he's injured, so I completely fine. Uemura.
Oh man, it's so tough right now because I could see there's probably 4 of them I could see win the world heavyweight title without even thinking about it, and a 5th one that's about to be at that level.
Yeah, but who is give me your personal 6?
All right, starting at the bottom, my personal 6.
This tends to be an easy choice lately, but I would like to see what your choice is.
Starting at the bottom, I would never call someone a Nepo baby fail son, but if I did, we got to put Shooter at the bottom. I'm sorry. He ain't it, man. He ain't got it. I was a believer when he went away, for excursion. I was like, this kid's good, man. But I just, they constantly put him in spots that he cannot work in.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know what people see in him. He's got a connection with the crowd that I don't fucking understand.
Yeah, I've never quite been a Shooter fan. I've always wanted him to work, and look, he'll have a great match in a moment against a guy like Will Ospreay, but at the end of the day, the guy is Will Ospreay.
Yeah,
He's a
Will Ospreay could wrestle a refrigerator and get 4.5 stars.
Look,
So
the Will Ospreay is like the modern day Ric Flair over here.
Yep.
He can. I've seen him against terrible. I've seen him wrestle Matt Cardona and put on a really good match. No offense to Matt Cardona, but come on. But I've seen Shooter have these great matches and stuff, but like I've also seen him have plenty of duds. That Moxley match I thought wasn't that good, if I recall correctly. I've seen him have great stuff, and the guy. Obviously, this is a personal thing. I totally agree that Shooter's on my bottom. There's only one other guy that I think is sort of like an A and B for maybe the bottom, a hot swap every once in a while. But right now, I really do not care for Shooter. And the fact that at the end of KOPW, they're doing this sort of, here are all the future challengers for Zack Sabre Jr. Shooter comes out and he gets booed. I'm like, oh my God. I am the vindication of I'm not the only one. I don't want this guy to fail, obviously, but the fact that like now we have reached the point where the crowd's saying, no, thank you. At the point in time, Curtis, where we are building Hantai around Shooter, he is getting booed from the fans.
So you heard it here first, Hantai heel group.
Apparently, I don't get it. I'm fine with El Phantasmo. I enjoy me a little ELP, but Shooter getting booed from the crowd, I thought was
I thought I had missed something during his match. I was like, what did I miss? Did I not see him just smoke Tanahashi in the head or something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's going on? But no, yeah, it was definitely weird to see the fans going like, no, thank you.
Yeah. So you got good. Shooter at your bottom. Who's above Shooter?
Shooter at the bottom. I would say, unfortunately, at this point, Ren is second from the bottom for me. Yeah. He's not doing anything. He is currently the TV champion.
Shocked.
I think it's good space for him.
I was like, I sat in my chair. I was like, really? Ren Narita, TV champion.
I'm gonna put it out here. We called it beforehand in our KOPW preview. We called that. I think it's a good spot for him. I think he can have great matches. I think this, what is it, like goblin, energy that he gives off is pretty fun. It's something different for him. He's definitely not the Shibata clone anymore, and I like it.
Plus, hey, look, it took a couple years, but he's finally won the TV title after losing it in that finals of that tournament to Zack Sabre Jr.
When everyone was convinced it was just going to be his right away anyway.
Yeah.
So
you got Shooter, got Ren Narita, who's above that. The tough point of four guys who I think are all pretty good.
Here's where we go. Okay. Shit.
So you got Gabe Kidd, Yu Uemura, Yota Tsuji, and Rohei Oiwa.
I think at this moment, as far as favorites go, I'd put Yuya next, which sucks because he was such a great story during the G1. We were doing G1 and things like that, and I was always just like, yeah, this is fucking great every time I'd watch one of his matches. But with him being on the shelf right now, it's out of sight, out of mind, and that's unfortunate.
Plus, I will say for me, like, it wasn't really until the G1 climax where for me it started like clicking with Yuya Uemura. So it's like he has like a good amount of time of like, I don't know about this guy, and then it clicks, and then he's immediately gone.
Yeah, which was really tough. I think when he comes back, he'll hop up that fucking ladder, this ranking, no problem.
Similar to like Master Wato, where it's like finally things are starting to click with Master Wato, and he has a great moment.
Shoulder fucking exploded.
Exactly. Above Yuya Uemura.
Above Yuya Uemura. Oh my God. So I'm gonna say at this point, above Yuya Uemura, Oiwa. Yeah. Because Oiwa being just coming back, dude, that match he had with with Shingo, his return match with Shingo was phenomenal. All of his stuff that he was doing in Noah, I was fucking enraptured. Yeah. I love it. And if I mean, at this moment, at this space and time, I think he's third on this list. But there's so much room for improvement there. I mean, if you said to me in 2026, January 4th, 2026, he's winning the world title, no shock. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
let's do it. And if anybody's going to get the rocket strapped to them with these young men, I could see him being the one. You know, like it was so funny because Raffe, being in Japan right now, had to watch KOPW after it had aired. He was on a bullet train the entire show.
A Bullet Club train, but continue.
Bullet Club train, and afterwards he just sent me a message that was two words long. The grip. That was all. Just in two capital letters the entire way. The grip.
The grip.
The grip. And I was like, yep. He knows.
I did not know that was his new nickname until Scotty told me on the last episode of Ring Post Radio.
It's bad. I love it.
It's like up there with Gene Blast, where it's just like it's so bad it's good.
Hell yeah, dude! It's New Japan as hell.
It's like when Kenny got the cleaner gimmick, and he's like, "What the hell is this supposed to mean?" And they're like, "Yeah, the cleaner." And they're just like, "I don't know. I'm like, sure, I'll come out with a broom, I guess."
I guess Kenny had never seen Pulp Fiction at the time.
Probably. I hope Rohei Iwa comes out with those like grip testing machines that a bunch of like Olympians are using on TikTok.
Oh man, he would definitely have to like come out with like a gimmick where he gets like people to like lift those awkward like lead mugs. Have you seen those on where they can't lift it because they don't have the grip strength? No, that would maybe that's a reach.
We should get him doing a bunch of bouldering. That's what we really need to get him to do.
There we go.
Climbing rocks, you know.
Yes.
Shirt off, sweating down, climbing rocks, getting that back
mullet in the breeze.
Cliffhangers with Stallone. That's what we need, baby.
That's what we need. There we go. Ultimate X, right? Ultimate X in the New Japan ring, and he's holding on for someone. You know, he's up on the ropes. He's holding someone. He's like, no, survive.
Like 5 people are knocking into him, but he's got such a grip on the rope that nothing's taking him down.
So,
anyways,
Oiwa 3. At this point, god damn, I want to say my personal rankings.
Yeah.
Tsuji 2.
Yep.
Gabe Kidd 1.
Yeah.
I know more than likely Tsuji would win the world title before Gabe Kidd.
Sure.
But I want it in reverse. I want Gabe Kidd to have all the belts right now. I want him to be that angry, I fucking told you so guy. And to be the new savior. Like, and you know what? Let's fucking go. Let's have Zack Sabre Jr. hold the belt all the way until fucking January 4th, 2026, and we get 2 English dudes fighting over the world heavyweight title. I'm in.
Royal Quest 5. Zack Sabre Jr. holds it the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, he held the world title, or he held the world TV title for fucking 12, 13 months or something. Let's go.
We've set a precedent. Folks.
I mean, really right now, who's gonna take it from him? The only person I can see standing up to him right now is Shingo. And like, yeah, Shingo probably should get a title run. He is a little bit older, but he needs a title run, not during pandemic clap crowds.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. But it's also like, I'm not taking the title off of Zack Sabre Jr. anytime soon. So
nope.
The fact that Shingo's like a soon-to-be challenger, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Shingo, but I'm picking you to lose here. I need Zack to hold it just a little bit more.
Yeah, but I mean, does New Japan want Zack to hold it a little bit more?
If I'm New Japan, I would do that because I think like sort of saving this for when we get to like we'll get to it now, I guess, with the KOPW stuff and Zack Sabre Jr. main event and all these sort of things. But like if like I was sort of thinking about it, like I think that with Ospreay leaving, they obviously knew this. So I think knowing like what happened with Wrestle Kingdom and Zack Sabre Jr. saying he wants the title, but Ospreay's still not gone yet and all these sort of things. I think this was always the plan, right? I think with Ospreay leaving, it opened the door that they needed a new Western guy, obviously with Jay White gone as well. and they chose Zack Sabre Jr. so that this year was all about Zack Sabre Jr. going up and taking that crown, right? And then Okada left. Okada left, which made everyone freak the fuck out, obviously.
Made a bunch of people change their podcast name.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember I sent you guys a pitch of like, here's 20 ideas. Let's just come up with something. But like, you know, and I think also in hindsight, if Okada was still around, I think to me, that's the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. Like Sabre versus Okada.
Oh yeah.
Like part of me is like, I think that's what it would have been. Obviously, I guess it could be at what is the Wrestle Dynasty, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would love to see the match, but I'm good.
I just don't want Okada to come back right away.
I think that's fair.
I mean, he will because they need to pop the number, so they'll have him and Kenny and you know all those guys to pop the number for the Wrestle Dynasty. But like, he just left like 6 months ago.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know, let's miss him.
I agree. I think that same thing with like Omega as he sort of like came back is like it was a good enough time away. But I think like Okada being gone left more of that open hole, that gaping hole in the roster of like, oh crap, we really need to figure all these other guys out as soon as possible. And part of the reason I really want a good long Zack Sabre Jr. reign is because I think the longer the reign, it gives you more time to build up all of these 6 young guys we literally just mentioned, right? Like it gives us all time to build up these 6 guys, the SmackDown 6, if you will, of New Japan.
Oh, I like that, the SmackDown 6.
And gets you to a point where like we could have like serious drawing contenders, because a lot of this also is going to be Naito. I think he's done. I don't think he's winning the world title anytime soon ever again. I think he might be done just in terms of body and everything. But the problem is that he's still like a massive draw for New Japan. And obviously with bringing the AEW guys, I think the element there is to try to pop some numbers as well. So I think like in terms of that business idea, I think like if Zack Sabre Jr. is probably solid enough that can get you going. And then you just need to build up these guys over the next year to the point where like we are now, like right now, the point where you and I are talking about like, oh, one of these guys can probably win the world title in the next year or so. Yeah, we need to get them to that point, especially because one of these 6 guys that we just mentioned, Curtis, I think legitimately is going to be winning that title off of Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, and Zack being the final boss for these guys is pretty fucking cool. Mm-hmm. I love that where it's like Zack is, because New Japan right now, they have 2 dudes who they could put in the best in the world, you know, talk.
Yeah.
They you know, AEW is taking everybody else. But when they say we've got 2 dudes who can be the best in the world, Zack Sabre Jr. and Shingo.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we gotta really look at this next crop that's coming up. And there's some dudes in there that you could say are probably gonna be in that talk in a couple of years.
Because then you can, if you go across the 6 guys, you can do all of those title fences. Obviously, we can still do Shingo. I think I love this idea of like a Jeff Cobb winning the New Japan Cup.
Yeah,
I think that would be a nice little feather in Cobb's cap as well. You know, so you throw in Jeff Cobb. I think obviously Taichi is a sexy ass title defense right there.
Oh, the storyline in that. Oh,
so what we're saying right here is like we just pitched 8 title defenses for Zack Sabre.
Yeah, that's
Jr.
a year and a half.
Yeah, and I don't think this guy should be beating like Okada's reign or anything, obviously, or the number of defenses, obviously. But like, I think like this can stretch us out to like Wrestle Kingdom next year, where like somewhere else can win. One of these 6 guys can win the G1 and wrestle Zack Sabre Jr. at the Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah,
or King of Pro Wrestling, whatever's happening now.
Yeah, wherever. Call your own shot, I guess. I dig it. I think making Zack the standard bearer for New Japan is a great idea. Yeah, an absolutely great idea.
Yeah. He's the glue. He's the glue that's going to get us there.
It sucks a bit for Shingo because I do want Shingo to have a non-pandemic clap crowd reign, but I mean, needs must right now. Yeah, needs must. You have to establish new stars. They've got 6 dudes who could be that guy, and they need someone to live up to. Someone a measuring stick.
Yeah.
And that measuring stick being Zack Sabre Jr. fucking rules.
Yeah. And even then, like, we just did your rankings. We have 6 guys, but you have 2 guys that are really falling apart, it feels like. Especially Shooter. So it definitely feels like they obviously need way more seasoning and way more time, or worst case scenario for Shooter is to full on do the Naito gimmick and go on excursion again. Like that, that's certainly a break glass in case of emergency situation. I think Shingo can serve as like a good, let's say like Tsuji beats Sabre, right, at Wrestle Kingdom next year. I think like Shingo would be like a good champion after that. And then you go to like maybe like a reworked Shooter or Oiwa or any of these other guys. Like I think there's something there in terms of all these sort of things, but that's years down the line probably.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, so
because also if we have a long reign of Sabre, I don't think whoever beats him should have a long reign. Like if Tsuji wins, then he should have the title for maybe like, I don't know, 6 to 8 months or something like that.
Yeah, or even less. I mean, he could have a V0 title reign and be pissed about it, you know.
And then Shingo beats him, and then I think we're good.
Yeah. So I think I got kind of annoyed a couple of weeks ago because someone was like, "Oh, New Japan needs to establish new stars right away," and I want to be like, "Why? Tell me why. Why do they need to establish new stars right now? What's the fuck?"
Well, to be fair, like that is a message that was yelled to everybody like 6 months ago. Like when Okada and Sabre left, and obviously White before that. Like that was what everyone was screaming at the time, was like they need to figure things out. And I was in the corner being like, they can easily just bump up upper mid. Like everyone's like, you got to start pushing Shooter, and you got to start putting Tsuji and all these things. And I'm sitting over here being like, you got Sabre, Shingo, Taichi, all upper mid carders that you can easily bump up into that next picture. Mm-hmm. They chose Sabre as the guy. And like I said, in hindsight, I think the plan with Ospreay leaving was always to bump up Sabre.
Yeah, the only bad thing is that Sabre is older than Ospreay. Like that's the thing, is like they were establishing new stars.
Yeah, his name was
fucking Will Ospreay.
They're also currently establishing them. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's just it sucks that talent keeps getting rated. I'm just gonna.
This is where the AEW hate podcast comes out with Curtis.
Oh, I fucking hate it. I can see the AEW like poster behind you, and I'm just like,
yeah. As the AEW defender that I am, I will say, if it wasn't 100% Ospreay was gonna leave, and I'm like realistically, I'm fine with Ospreay leaving New Japan. It sucks from like a New Japan fan perspective for sure, but like honestly, what more is this guy going to do in the company? I mean, he's pretty much achieved everything other than, I mean, did he cleanly beat Okada in the Dome? I'm trying to remember. I think he has.
He did not beat Okada at the Dome.
Cleanly? He's done it dirty, because I think that because that's when Okan came in, I believe.
Yeah, he beat Okada dirty during the G1.
Okay, maybe that's confusing.
But there's plenty more for him to do. He had was it a V0 title reign?
Sure.
So he could do that, and that was all during pandemic shit.
Sure.
He fucking
I guess that applies more to
G1.
I guess that applies more to Okada, realistically speaking.
Okada's fine. It's fine.
But I understand like Ospreay leaving and all these sort of things. Okada, he did everything he could do, and honestly, in a lot of ways, I'm thankful that AEW did exist, because it would have been WWE instead. Like he was going to go to WWE. If AEW didn't come in and be like, here's more money. And then he was like, sure.
He was on his way out. It's fine. That's fine. I understand. I thought he was just a lifer. I thought he was just going to fucking take the dad money and fucking run.
Yeah. Plus of the economy and everything. And
my friend was constantly like, hey man, Okada's going to look real good in NXT and shit like that.
Yeah. Now in hindsight, would WWE have been that bad? I don't know. You got a guy yelling "damn" out here or "bitch" out here every single week, and being leaning into the comedy of it all. Would WWE have been that bad? I don't know.
Is Okada's body broken? Is he just done? Like, is he just gonna have fun for the last few years of his contract?
I wouldn't be shocked. I think he's like. I honestly would not be shocked if he is sort of a. higher work rate level Nakamura moving forward. You know, I legitimately, I think in WWE would have been the exact same. I think he would have done more comedy stuff as well there. I don't know if I don't think it's the exact same character, obviously, but like I don't think it changes that much versus WWE. I think he is like, I want to just take it easy. I mean, even then we saw like in New Japan, like he was slowing down a little bit near the end of his New Japan run. Like obviously not doing the comedy gimmicks or anything, but like he was starting to slow down. So this gives him an opportunity to still slow down over in the West, over in all these other companies. So
working 1 day a week, maybe 2 days a week.
Brother, maybe once a month if you're lucky.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going to be good for him. And that the thing is that does extend Will Ospreay's shelf life as well.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you could tell that when he was working full-time New Japan schedules, he was getting fucked up quite often.
Oh yeah.
So you know, when these guys can come out and they can, you know, they show up for work and all they got to do is go out and do 5 minutes of TV interview and then they can go home.
Yeah. I mean, the reality of New Japan, I think, is that like they obviously, you know, Ospreay leaving, White leaving, Okada leaving, obviously, and then the economy also taking a crapper in Japan as well, apparently. Like I think New Japan was like kind of caught with their pants down a little bit in terms of all their undercard, mid-card guys, and they were like, it became an oh shit situation. But I don't think that they have necessarily been like poor in figuring that out in the past year. Look where we are. Literally months ago, everyone was screaming, crying that New Japan's dead and everyone in New Japan is going to die and all this stuff. But we're now at the point where Zack Sabre Jr.'s got the win. We got all these other young guys that are looking real promising, like a Gabe Kidd, like an Oiwa, like a Tsuji, like a Yu Uemura, but for the injury. You know, Master Wato just returned and he had a really hot Best of Super Junior, so that's good. You know, in the junior division, obviously, with Kosei Fujita looking real strong. Like you got guys that it's just like they have it. The problem is that I think they were caught with their pants down a little bit, and New Japan's style of booking is just friggin' slow. So I think it is in those situations, it's very tough to have patience, but it's also just what New Japan is, baby.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely took a minute for the booking to catch up with their reality.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we have, like, once we got through the G1, I was amped. I was like, we're in a great spot. Let's go.
Exactly. I felt the exact same way.
Yeah. So yeah, that was Tsuji versus Drilla.
Look, brother. Hey, brother, you like tangents? I got you a tangent out of this episode.
Yeah. You just got to do it with a gravelly Australian accent.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't do an accent. My family is famously bad at impressions.
That's fair.
I used to be able to do Batman, but I really got to warm up my voice to be able to do a Batman.
Well, I mean, that's good because Rafe sounds like Australian Batman, so it's fine.
That's fair. That's a fair comp right there.
What was the next match that came out?
Shota Umino versus Callum Newman. Obviously, we talk about Shota Umino to death outside of this match, but what do you think of this match?
You know what? I only saw about half of it. I was getting a drink.
Oh yeah, I forgot your wife was getting hit on.
Yeah. And let me tell you something real fast. Afterwards, after the show, not only you know was she, you know, in the presence of Shooter,
enamored, yeah.
Our friend editor Dan, who edits the Super J cast, tried to rizz up my wife after the. I'm sitting there and I'm talking to Dan, and I love Dan to death, dude. I love that fucking guy. And he leans over and he goes, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Oh, have you not met my wife? Because I've been at shows with Dan before, but sometimes I've had my wife with me, sometimes I haven't." Oh god. And I just couldn't. I was like, "Have you met my wife before?" And he's like, "No, I have not." And he like grabs her hand and kisses her on the hand.
Oh my god,
gentleman! I'm like, "Look here, rock star."
Oh my god. Got freaking Rizzler over here.
Yeah, exactly. No, Dan's he's just that fucking weird of a guy. But yeah, no, that was fun. No, Callum Newman is he's great. I'm into the whole like Prince becomes the king storyline. I think it's fun. I didn't need to watch this. So yeah.
The match was fine. A lot of these matches I thought were like good work, but like fine matches. Other than there's some matches I thought were better, obviously, but like everyone was putting in good work. This one I was just sort of like, it's whatever. And I think a lot of it has to do with the Shooter stuff.
Yeah, I'm just not down with Shooter, man. Like he's not it. Shooter
Also,
ain't him.
I feel like you got a lot of FUs, like a lot of fuck yous from the crowd for Shooter.
He's going up against an English wrestler.
Mhm.
So he's always going to be second best when he's fighting someone from the home team.
But we're talking back-to-back weeks where the crowd boos him and then the crowd tells him to fuck off.
I mean, if it informs his character from then on, let's go.
Hey, we'll find out. We'll find out.
I love the idea of like completely delusional Shooter thinking that he's the good guy, coming out and making these choices that are obviously heel moves, and he just doesn't see it that way.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no, I'm the leader of Hantai. Fuck Tanahashi. I'm the fucking man who's going to carry this company. And it's like the whole time we're like, no,
Yeah,
fuck you. I think that's a great space for him.
yeah, the delusional baby face.
Delusional baby face.
Mm-hmm.
Like not to the comedy level like Evil is right now, where Evil's like, off in his own world. I'm the good guy, but no, like
That was a great Evil impression, by the way.
yes, thank you. Okay, glad we're having fun with it. I don't know where that came from. Anyway,
Me neither.
No, Evil's completely, he's off the fucking reservation,
Yeah,
right?
he sounded like a freaking Looney Tune.
But if Shooter could do that, but with we know how he is behind the scenes,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like I said, I think I don't necessarily want it because I think it's like the immediate comparisons that Naito already exists, but there is that sort of break glass in case of emergency with Shooter, where it's like, all right, this isn't working. Let's just send them on excursion and try this all over again. But I don't know.
I mean, his excursion was kind of butt fucked by COVID, so
Yep. Yeah. Yep. I remember, like in Yuji Nagata yelling at him for gaining too much weight.
Oh man, dude, I remember people coming through and being like, too many Gregs, too many sausage rolls.
Yeah, talk about instead of the grip, it's the Greg.
Too many sausage rolls. It's sausage umino. I immediately take that back because Jesus Christ, I've had too many Gregs. Yeah, no,
I can't wait to have a Greg sausage roll.
It's a thing, man. They're fucking and they're so cheap too.
I know.
They're so cheap, bro.
I know. I
you
can't
just
wait.
Wake up and you're like, fucking cheeky Gregs. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I'm gonna die. You know that we're doing my wife and I are doing our honeymoon in England, right?
You better be.
We are, and I think in March is what the plan is.
Oh, that's my wife and I's anniversary, dude. We can have a big double date and have a moment out on the town. So.
That'd be lovely. We'll plan that. We'll do that offline, obviously. No, let's do it right now. Actually, I'll pull up your calendar.
It's more important than this fucking Shooter match.
Takamichinoku.
Takamichi. Yeah, this was a moment.
More of an angle, obviously.
What's that?
More like an angle, obviously, just because.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Taka's never had a match in England, as far as I know. Mm-hmm. It was his first time in England, so it was cool to see. There were a lot of people who kind of were down on Takamichinoku being the babyface in this angle.
Is it because of Taka reasons?
It is Taka reasons. Yeah. There were some people who were like, my wife was definitely. She was like, kick his fucking ass. So,
I did just look up on Cage Match. He has never had a match in Europe.
That's pretty cool.
In Europe, by the way, not in England.
In all of Europe.
Europe never worked WXW once.
No. Okay. Well, it was fun to see. My friend Jamal was visiting from America, and this was the only person. Well, him and Zack Sabre Jr. Were like the only people that he really recognized. He's also a Shingo fan. He likes Shingo, but Shingo wasn't there. So yeah, he's kind of like on the outskirts of New Japan. He really watches New Japan once a year in October when he comes and hangs out with me and we go see Royal Quest. Mm-hmm. But he's old school with me, like, Attitude Era guy. So he was like, oh shit, like he goes like Taka Michinoku, and I was like, yeah, Taka Michinoku, and he's like, fuck yeah, let's go Taka. So he bit 100%.
Perfect.
And this was a fun angle, getting the comedy squash with Gedo was really fun. Got to see a nice Taka Michinoku driver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you got the moment of him having a match in England and winning,
Yep.
and then getting absolutely fucking shit canned by David Finlay. The crowd was really in on the character for David Finlay. Yeah, one of the chants was "You're not even Irish." That was pretty great.
It's a good chant.
Another one of the chants, like they were singing "You're a shit fit Finlay," that sort of thing. I thought they were saying "shit Jay White" for a second, which I don't like the Jay White comparisons, but that is a funny chant.
Look, I'll be honest, I was one of the first guys out here saying about when he first became the heel, and it was like, all right, this guy's fully looks like he's just Jay White.
It is like a Jay White cosplay, but it's not the same character.
Oh,
like
Curtis,
every Bullet Club leader comes out with like wet hair,
I know,
and fucking, you know, like a leather jacket. Like you could say that he's doing a Kenny Omega impression.
Well, it was the dyed beard. That's really what killed me. It was like, oh brother, that's this guy. Gato had a couple just for men's left over, and just just had to slap him on real quick. So I was not. I've been off and on David Finlay for a good long time, and that the quote unquote Jay White cosplay, I was out for sure. Curtis, this year, I have been one of the very few flag bearers of David Finlay rules. I have been in the David Finlay rules camp since Wrestle Kingdom. January, and every match I get excited for. Well, maybe not every match, but most Nick Nemeth I could skip, I guess. But for the most part, I thought this year he's been great. He is currently one of my favorites in New Japan right now. I think he is putting in great work this year. The G1 was fantastic for him. Is he the best all time in New Japan? Probably, in terms of working all this stuff, probably not. But the growth and this new power moveset and everything about David Finlay, I have loved since the jump of this year of our Lord 2024. I love David Finlay right now.
Yeah, when he came out and smashed both belts with the big comedy sledgehammer, we came out and did the Donkey Kong on the belts.
I was Bray Wyatt hammer.
Fucking into it.
Yeah.
I was so into it. I love it. I think everything he's done this year has been fucking great. I was kind of shocked that he didn't win the New Japan Cup. But yeah, this year's been great for David Finlay. I think that he's really establishing himself as, this is what he wants his Bullet Club to be.
Yeah.
And it's something different from the Elite. It's something different from the cool guys with Devitt and AJ Styles. It's something different from when Jay White was all about himself and just using everybody else.
Yeah.
It's really, his Bullet Club is something new.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think from the start, from the cage match, from the smashing the belts, winning the white belt, everything he's done this year has been fucking top tier. Yeah. And anyone who doesn't see it isn't watching the same shit I'm watching.
And you say the cage match. I'm going even before that, the triple threat with Moxley and Ospreay at
great.
I thought was
so much
legitimately
fun.
Great. One of the best matches of Wrestle Kingdom, hands down.
Yeah.
I think it was my favorite match of Wrestle Kingdom. I think he's been putting in great work all year, and I think I get it. Look, I think some people don't love the War Dogs, and that's fine. But like for me,
wrong.
For me, they're a breath of fresh air, and I think you nailed it on the head there by saying that like they are bringing a different style of Bullet Club that we haven't seen in a bit. They're more aggressive, more rowdy, more chaotic, which is, I think some people, for them, that breath of fresh air smells like a fart. But for me, that is a pure, Colorado can of fresh air. For me, that's
Rocky Mountain High, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm enjoying.
Tons of fun. I think David Finlay is something big is on the horizon for him. Like establishing that white belt is really great. Other than the hiccup they had with Nick Nemeth.
Yeah. I think that also is what soured a lot of people. I think it's really like the Riddle Nick Nemeth stuff is what soured a lot of people, to be fair.
It did sour a lot of people. Yeah. Gross. I have no problem with them if they put the belt on Nick Nemeth and ran with it and put David Finlay somewhere else. That would have been fine.
Sure. I think that was also like the fear is that people are like, because Zack Sabre Jr. wasn't there yet, so it was like, oh, so just our new number one guy is David Finlay? Wow, who I don't want this guy anymore. And it's like, no, wait, everyone be patient, everyone calm down, everything's gonna work out.
Yeah, tons of fun. This was a good moment. It was fun to see Taka Michinoku if you ignore all the Taka Michinoku things, and
Sure.
yeah, good times. Anytime I can see a Gato match, I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah,
It's a little bit higher up in the card than I prefer, but still.
Yeah, that's fair. I saw somewhere online on Twitter that someone mentioned that Taka really didn't want to make this flight, and he's not planning on making it anymore. So, this could have been the first and only time you see Taka Michinoku in England, in Europe, maybe. So,
Yeah.
Hey, look, you were there. You got the T-shirt and everything. You were there.
I'm not sure why it was him. Like, why? I mean, they could have picked anybody, really, but if he didn't want to make the flight, why did he?
I don't know. Payday, brother. You got 2 matches out of it. You got the payday for 2 matches.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Got his first match in England and made first win in Europe.
Yeah, he's the Taka Michinoku is the Hulk Hogan of just 5 guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
So next match.
Next match, 6-man tag team match, LIJ. I didn't realize that was the point where I just started talking. I'm not a professional. Tetsuya Naito, Hiromu Takahashi, and Titan coming in from CMLL, along with the opposite team of Mascara Dorada, Robbie Eagles, and Rohei Oiwa. What do you think of this one? I thought it was really fun.
I had a great time watching this match. It wasn't the best work rate match, although there was some great work rate moments. This match was. I got to see Titan in fucking real life.
You got to see Masquerada Dorada. That's what I'm jealous of.
Masquerada Dorada. That was a ton of fun. I leaned over to my friend in the middle of the middle of it, and I was just like, wait until the CMLL guys touch. You're gonna see magic. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Getting to see Oiwa was a ton of fun. Robbie was really playing up with the crowd.
Yep.
Like I said, I was the first one to start chanting Robbie's name. I fucking love that dude. When you were watching this match, like you could kind of tell that Naito was a bit checked out, but like Hiromu was
it was a T-shirt Naito chant after all. So
Hiromu was all about it. There was a ton of fun and a ton of presence in this match.
Yeah,
there was just charisma like fucking exploding out of the ring. It was the funnest match of the night for sure for me.
Yeah, in terms of work rate, I guess it's not all there. It's not what the expectation is what you're gonna get, but these aren't, like I said, this isn't like mainline Wrestle Kingdom G1 final work rate you're gonna get out of these guys. But what you did get is a very fun match with all these 6 guys. Crowd involvement at the wazoo because these guys have great crowd involvement, and you get to see some great workers. I'm extremely jealous you got to see Mascara Dorada. I think he has so much potential down in CMLL and so much potential as to being a global star. Just starting with like Rev Pro and AEW, and I think he was in Fantastic Mania this year. He has to have been. And yeah, I'm loving Mascara Dorada. We talked about backs of Rohei Oiwa. Jesus Christ, Mascara Dorada, that back, those lats, baby. There's nothing. Everyone loves their pecs, their 22-inch Python biceps. Nah, brother, it's the lats for me over here. I'm a big lat guy. But I thought this match was really fun, like I said, and hey, look, good stuff. The crowd was into it, which helped out a lot.
When you pay for a New Japan show, you pay for the full New Japan experience, and some of that New Japan experience is Naito not working a lot during a 6-man tag.
Look, sometimes you get MLW Naito. He's never worked MLW, but like everyone else in MLW, when he's wearing a T-shirt, it's 70% speed and effort.
Yep, exactly. So. You pay for the full New Japan experience, you get the full New Japan experience.
But yeah, I thought that was a pretty fun match.
Good times.
Semi-main New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team match. Mikey Nichols and Shane Hayes defeat Hiroshi Tanahashi and Tomohiro Ishii in Tanahashi's first match of his retirement tour.
Yeah, I was trying to, in my head during the show, I was like, is his retirement before the next Royal Quest? I was like, is this the last time I'm going to see Tanahashi? oh shit, like like I was trying to think like, oh my god, I'm this might be it.
Yeah.
But no, I believe if I can make it to the Dome in 2026, fingers crossed. Um, and then hopefully he'll be back next October, which does fall before October comes before January. I don't know if you know that.
What?
So I was like, hey, thankfully this isn't the last time. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, Ishii is fucking huge in England, so that was a lot of fun getting to see Ishii. Shane and Mikey, like anytime you can see Shane and Mikey, especially if they're defending titles, it doesn't matter what titles, they will go all out. They do their best to prove that they are the cream of tag team wrestling. And and the cream rose to the top here. I thought that this was a great group. They could play off of the fun between them with Shane and Tanahashi. Then they could have the actual like New Japan strong style with Mikey and Ishii. Like you got a full spectrum with this match. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Ishii is still so great, man.
Dude, yeah.
It's insane how great Ishii is. And Mikey Nichols, Shane Haste. I love Mikey Nichols. I love Mad Mikey Nichols a lot. Shane Haste, here and there for me, but I think his work is still very solid. And Tanahashi, my brother's started his retirement tour, and he's definitely slowing down. But the fact that he is able to keep going, and not like the fact that he's able to keep up with mostly with these guys, says something about Tanahashi despite his broken down body. I thought this match was really good. Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste. We'll see where they go with their tag team titles and more of these weird, not separated tag titles, and we'll see what happens there.
Why are they? It's so silly. There's too many titles in New Japan. It's funny because I mean, obviously, every title everywhere all at once. I don't think has come out yet.
No, not yet. That'll be next.
There's so many titles. I thought we could get rid of a bunch of them, but I was proven wrong. There's your teaser. Ooh. So, I think that who's going to challenge for just the strong titles when they could also challenge for the IWGP titles? But there are people challenging for just the strong titles in Massachusetts in a couple of days. We're going to have Grizzled Young Veterans versus TMDK. Sounds like a match I'm going to be really excited to see. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it's on a strong show, and I'm not paying extra to watch the thing that I already pay for.
New Japan World. New Japan World, baby.
Yeah, New Japan World. You're lucky I still pay for that shit after I couldn't watch King of Pro Wrestling. You sons of bitches.
They should find a way. Once like the AEW Max stuff starts happening, they should find a way where those New Japan shows are like produced by AEW, I guess, or promoted by AEW, so that they can go on Max.
I don't have Max. There's no Max in England either.
Oh, that's probably a good thing. It's
funny that they went with Max instead of HBO. Like Max is the name that people recognize over HBO. What the fuck is that?
I don't know, man. Look, if I can understand what goes through David Zaslav's head. I mean, I was working on a show
normal man, David Zaslav.
I was working
completely normal.
I was working on a show that he cut. So, my brother, look, man, I don't understand and our show was getting solid enough ratings. It was cheaper as well. So I don't know why they didn't cut ours. Why they cut ours, not the other one? But that's fine. That's whatever.
Zaslav, like his whole job is to like sell off WB for parts and get extra money for it.
I don't think it's like selling off. I think it's just like they've inherited so much debt that his job is to figure how to sell off the debt or figure out how to get rid of it. And like selling off the CW. Or a majority part of the CW, taking stuff off Max to save on server space. All this stuff is like I don't like it sucks because he is such an inevitable position as like an exec. This is all film Ryan coming out because I work in the industry and this is all I talk about all outside of wrestling. But like he's such an unenviable task of like figuring out a way to make the executives happy, I guess, of not having this business crumble around him, but the matter of that is to upset all the artists and creators out there because it costs too much.
I don't think it's unenviable when you get a multi-million, hundreds of millions of dollars bonus for being a shithead. That's not unenviable, dude.
Oh, I agree with that too. I think a
That's
good way to
enviable.
fix your company is to take a pay cut, Zaslav.
I might say we're getting in the weeds.
Yeah. Well, this is the first episode that'll be released after Tanahashi's retirement, and obviously we'll want to get Raph's thoughts on this as well. But what do you think about Tanahashi retiring, fully pulling up the taking off the boots and putting him in that middle of that ring?
I think it's the right time. It's the right moment. The right time was probably 2 years ago.
Sure.
But 2 years ago we were still having clap crowds and all sorts of shit like that.
Yeah.
Having a fully, stocked pantry when he leaves, because we're going to have another year of seasoning on the 6 that are coming up.
Of course.
Hopefully none of them will go to AEW before then.
Tanahashi's actually retiring from New Japan. He's going to AEW after this.
Yeah, he's going to AEW. He's going to be in a 6-man tag or something. They'll create a new belt for him.
Yeah, he's joining the infantry. He's going to be the 6-man with Sean Dean and Charlie Bravo or whatever his name is.
I have no idea who that is, but
exactly.
that's sure. Let's go. I'll yes and that. And can we talk for a second about Okada's belt? What is that? The Continental Classic belt? It's a belt that when it's defended, outside interference is forbidden. Because it's allowed in every other fucking title match, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
I'll be happy about that because it should be something that should not be allowed anywhere else. But I guess I'll take it where I can.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's taking away candy and then giving me one of those mini candy bits, those fun size things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's you could just give me candy, that's fine. I see
it.
It's like going out. It's like. I go Halloween trick-or-treating, and I get all this candy in my pillowcase. My parents take all of it, and then every month they give me one fun-sized candy from that pillowcase. It's like, what the hell? I could have this whole thing right now. Why am I waiting?
Yep. I'm going to egg your fucking house. So, okay. Tanahashi, yes, the time for him to retire was probably 2 years ago.
Sure.
But now they've got the pantry is being restocked.
Plus the Muto tour over as well.
The Muto tour is over. I'm wondering if anybody else is going to retire between here and there, or at least retire from full-time action. And maybe that's why he didn't do it at this year's Wrestle Kingdom.
That's a good point.
If the right time for this was 2 years ago, the second best time for it is right now.
Yeah.
It should be happening. It's going to be sad. I'm sure we'll still see him around quite a bit. He'll still be doing interviews and things like that. He'll still be at shows probably. I wonder who his final opponent's going to be.
Yeah.
Rafe's convinced he's going to win the belt at Wrestle Kingdom in 2026. So that could be a thing.
I think that was from the Nostradamus episode, right?
It was.
Yeah, so that might be out of date a little bit. Unless he's doing a Bryan Danielson move. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, what do you want the tour to be like? Because I really like the idea of the tour of the Tanahashi tour as obviously, because he's pretty much wrestled everybody in this company. So there's a big part of me that's something like the Muto tour where he wrestles a lot of older guys if they're still wrestling or outside wrestlers. I don't know if we'll get that many singles matches, but that's just the way it is. But my pitch is Tanahashi versus all the aces. So I want to see a singles match of Tanahashi versus Kaito Kiyomiya, Tanahashi versus Kento Miyahara, Tanahashi versus a guy he's never been in a singles match with, let alone wrestled opposite from on any Fantastica Mania. Tanahashi versus Mystico. Hey, look, we have another guy retiring and doing a retirement tour in 2025. Let's do Tanahashi somehow versus John Cena.
Let's do that.
A dream match for the entire landscape of pro wrestling, and they only have 1 year left to try and make it happen. So let's see. But those are my pitches: is Tanahashi versus the Aces.
I think the idea that Tanahashi versus like people from his people that he's had big stories with, one with Kenny, one one last shot with Okada, something like that, and like, but that seems kind of tired. I really prefer yours.
Yeah. I mean, I think they are teasing up Tanahashi and Omega versus the Young Bucks for like Wrestle Dynasty, I think, right? I think that's what they're teasing up right now, which is, I don't think has he ever worked with the Young Bucks in a tag? I don't think so.
Off the top of my head, I don't think so.
Yeah, because he was still in like the title mix and IC title mix when they were still in New Japan working heavyweight. So I don't know. I don't think they might have ever worked.
I'm sure they've been across from each other in multi-man tags at some point.
Yeah, but like Tanahashi, Shibata, I would love to see again. That can be done. Like obviously Shibata's not an ace, but Three Musketeer gimmick. Things like that where it's like I would like or let's go like full on Musketeer. Can we get Nakamura into the company for
Rafe's convinced he's coming back too.
Well, hey, we'll see. We'll see. There was that AJ Styles conversation of a retirement tour in WWE. Can we get AJ Styles back in New Japan versus that? Obviously maybe that opens the door to WWE, and do people want to open that door, that forbidden door? Who knows? But these sort of ideas, it's like, this is a once in a lifetime talent, right? Similar to like a John Cena, right? Where it's like
once in a century talent.
My apologies. Once in a century talent. So if we can make things work like a Nakamura, like a Styles, like, I love a Cena, like a Mystico, Kento Miyahara, Kaito Kiyomiya, like all these other guys, I would love to see that. How many of these will be singles? Probably not. I mean, realistically, it's probably like, I think Scotty pitched the idea to me of Tanahashi and Go Shiozaki versus Rohei Oiwa and Kaito Kiyomiya as a retirement tour tag match. And I said yes. Thank you.
Yes. Big thumbs high. Yeah, I'm into that. That sounds great. Go Shiozaki, like I like to see more Go Shiozaki everywhere.
Me
would
too.
be great.
But stuff like that where it's like I really want to check off some dreams,
I love this idea. I'm into it. Let's go Ace versus Ace. Let's go Ace of the Universe versus Ace of Noah. Let's go Ace of the Universe versus Ace of WWE.
Yeah.
Make it happen. And this platform here is where we start. Yes. Grassroots. Let's get it going.
Yeah. I think we can get some New Japan fans that'd be interested. I mean, like literally, Fantastica Mania next year is the last Fantastica Mania tour for Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Why can't the last night of Fantastica Mania be Mystico versus Hiroshi Tanahashi? Main event. Last night. Why not?
Easily it could be.
They have, I looked it up already. They have wrestled in so many multi-man matches, always teaming together. Why not put them together one-on-one for the only time possible? They've never wrestled each other. They've only wrestled next to each other. Let's put them together.
It doesn't have to be good guy versus bad guy, heel versus face. It could just be dream match.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Let's go.
Let's.
Speaking of dream match, Zack Sabre Jr. comes out in front of a white-hot English crowd, brings it home against Sonata.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Look, I know there are some other podcasters in the New Japan space that really love Sonata, but I am not one of them. I'm not a big Sonata guy. Ever since for a long time, I've not been a big Sonata guy.
I miss Ghost Pirate Sonata. I miss when Sonata would come out looking like Cervantes from fucking not Tekken. God damn it! I fucked the joke. Never mind. Soul Calibur. There it is.
Yeah.
I love that shit. He's never been the best as far as in-ring charisma goes, but I think that he had a great moment playing with the crowd in this match.
Yeah.
Everybody was so white hot for Zack that even Sonata could lean into the heel dynamic there a little bit. And we all knew that it was just that. It was just him leaning into the heel dynamic. And after the match, he did get a thank you Sonata chant because it was a good match from him. It was one of his best matches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because he actually had that sort of outreach to the crowd.
Plus, it's
he
like
wasn't.
I think like Sonata. I think Sonata's best opponent is Saber. You know.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, that's like saying your favorite band is the Beatles. It happens.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
or like we were saying earlier with Will, like Will Ospreay could wrestle anybody and make them look good. So.
Yeah. I think. Okay, here's the hot take. Here we go. Here's a hot take I'm inventing right now, and I think I agree with it. I'm not. This is coming right out of the.
I think I agree with my own take. Hold on a second.
It's coming right out of the cooker. Right out of the cooker. It spent zero time in there. I think like earlier we talked about like a lot of people gave Shooter love, and a lot of it came out of the Ospreay match where he looked so great, and I was like, yeah, Shooter can do something. I think a lot of the Sonata love that people might have could also come from him having great matches against Zack Sabre Jr. And maybe it's because he's wrestling Zack Sabre Jr., who is a potential Wrestling Observer Hall of Famer, probably going to be one day. So, maybe it's not necessary. What I'm saying, like similar to Shooter, maybe it's not necessarily Sonata, but maybe Zack Sabre Jr. is just that damn great.
Are you saying that Sonata was carried through every match he's ever had with Zack Sabre Jr.? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Fucking totally.
Yeah.
Totally agree. No, I did, like, I felt it in this match. At one point, he went to go start putting Zack in the Paradise Lock. I lost my goddamn mind. I was like, how fucking dare you?
Like when he's doing the Paradise Lock and Zack's like undoing everything.
Yeah, he's just like, no, what are you doing? Get out of here. Knock that shit off. He's like, don't you know who the fuck I am? I'm not going to stand for that nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah.
We stand on business here in fucking London.
Yeah.
Killing fucking Crystal Palace. Yeah. No, it was a good match. It was the best Sonata match I've ever seen. Because he had that outreach, because the crowd was so electric for Zack Sabre Jr. And yeah, in his words, he's not the first English IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, but he is the first one to bring it home, and we fucking appreciated that. Thank you, New Japan. Thank you, Zack Sabre Jr. Thank you, Sonata, for whatever you did. I can't wait to see where this goes. What a time. What a time to be alive. Zack Sabre Jr. is IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
I was genuinely shocked by that statement, by the way, because I was like, did Will Ospreay never actually bring it home to England?
No. Never had a match in England while he was champion. Dude, he was a V0. He fucking did not have a successful defense at all. Because the second he got the belt, his neck turned to fucking powdered milk.
Yeah.
And yeah, he went home to fucking rest up, and that's when they stripped him of it.
Yeah. It was just he was in England like so often during his New Japan stuff where I was just like, really? He never actually happened? I was kind of shocked by that.
Yeah.
But alas, it is what it is. Yeah, I thought the show, I liked KLPW a little bit more than this show as an overall show, but I thought that this was still a very solid show. I definitely want to watch Rev Pro's Global Wars the night before. I thought the main event was really solid. I thought it was the best match of the night, for sure. Sonata looked good, but again, look who's across that ring, baby. It's Zack Sabre Jr. I enjoyed it, and I'm glad that England was able to get that coming home party that in sports they rarely get.
Yeah, rarely get. Well, it's because they're not good at any sports but soccer, and then they're okay at soccer.
Yeah, they're good enough. Look, as a guy that has supported the Philadelphia Eagles for a very long time, I can understand the sentiment of having a really good regular season and then just fully blowing it in the postseason.
You got a Super Bowl 5 years ago. Shut up.
It was probably about 5-6 years ago. Look, and as an Eagles fan, it was all right. We got our Super Bowl. I'm done. We're good here. Let's move on. Like we can never be good again in my lifetime, and I'll be fine.
I remember watching that Super Bowl and just being like, "Oh my God, pray for the city of Philadelphia because the whole city's about to be burnt down."
Yeah, because also we lost our QB going straight into it, and then we had the backup QB for only that one match. Yeah,
Nick Foles, ladies and gentlemen, Napoleon Dynamite for the fucking quarterback.
Mm-hmm. And thank God, because I think I also heard if I remember correctly, it was a contract year for him because it was literally he was probably going to get fired after the season. And it was if I have one good game, I can maybe, and win us the Super Bowl, I can maybe stay here.
He got paid out of it, so good for him. Mm-hmm. And he's got that ring. Can't fight the ship. And you beat fucking Tom Brady. The only people who beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl came out of the fucking NFC East.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Nick Foles and fucking Eli Manning, the two dorkiest looking idiots to ever play football.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I've somehow opened a door here that I didn't expect to open.
I didn't expect that to happen either. That was weird.
It was like, whoa, Eli Manning. Whoa, what did he ever do to you?
Where am I going? I think the one thing that KOPW had over this show was Kishindoki.
Oh,
Kishindoki was
Kishindoki.
what a moment.
I loved maybe some Kishindoki. It was so interesting. Like, to unveil him at this point was cool, but then now it becomes, okay, now I know this exists. When's the next time I'm gonna see Kishindoki?
He's only going to see it like 4 times before he retires. That's the
probably
rules. Kishin doesn't come out very often.
No.
You're going to see Kishin in like 3 years. Then you'll see Kishin in like 4 or 5 more years.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'll be silent for a long time. Then he'll come out on the retirement tour.
Yeah. What the thing of Kishindoki is that he really needs to get that sort of Kishin Liger movement, like where he's just sort of like hopping and galloping around the ring in a weird way.
He needs his own version of the railroad spike. He needs to find something else that's like a weird weapon for him to have, like not a railroad spike, but maybe like a bakery rolling pin.
He needs to pull out a gun.
Something.
He needs to pull out a gun. just Kishindoki, and then underneath his like jacket thing, he has a bandolier. It's just. And just, you know,
I think he should have lots of weird things on the bandolier. He's got like a harmonica.
Look, he should grab the wrist, and now that he has wrist control, that's when you pull out your gun. That's a reference no one will understand. But yeah, that is so good. I'm interested in Kishindoki, but I don't know, man. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
I love Doki. I think Doki as IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion is fucking chef's kiss moment.
Yeah.
I love it.
Me too. And with Master Wato coming back too, I'm very intrigued about what's happening with juniors.
Yeah. Yeah, the junior stuff is going to be great. Super Junior Tag League starts today. And so I should get off this call so I can go watch that before work. But we've been talking about Royal Quest for the last hour and a half, and I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for filling in for Rafe today.
Of course.
Do you want to tell everybody about the Countout Network? We talk about the Countout Network at the end of every show here, because we are proud members of the Countout podcasting family. But you are the head of the table, and we acknowledge you.
I'm the one.
We acknowledge you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on, Curtis. It's been a pleasure talking about New Japan with you. And hopefully Raffe can make his flight home back from Japan to Australia. I think he's still in Japan right now as we speak, I believe, right? I think he's not back for like another week or so. So hopefully he has a fun time in Japan and enjoys his time. I got plenty of things to plug. I am Ryan Neitzey. You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Neitzey, but I don't use Twitter, so it's useless because I hate it and it's useless. I hate Twitter. I'm trying to get more into like Blue Sky or Threads, especially for the Countout Network. But I've
been doing Threads a lot.
Do you like Threads?
I like Threads.
Yeah, I want to get into Threads and Blue Sky, but I think it's the addictions of Twitter that are still. It's a Matt Hardy reference.
Well, and it's already just the pre-established community, so like you could get back into that community at any time.
But
where like you're trying to start something new.
But every terms of service update is like that community gets lessened and lessened. Like the last one was like the AI Grok thing is now going to automatically read everyone tweets and images to learn. And as a guy that spent last year supporting writers' strikes and everything against AI, I did not appreciate that automatically being turned on.
Getting rid of the block feature is a pain in the ass too, eh? Oh, that's awful.
Anyways, Patreon, Countout Network. We got a lot of stuff to plug. I do a show on the Countout Network called Ring Post Radio with my good friend Scotty Edwards. In that show, we don't just only talk about New Japan. We talk about All Japan. We talk about WWE. We talk about AEW. We talk about CMLL. Anything that garners our interest that week in the professional world of professional wrestling, we will talk about it on Ring Post Radio every Sunday. It's basically a Sunday morning show at like 9, 10 a.m. We go live every single week to discuss pro wrestling. If you want to go check us out, you can obviously watch us live on YouTube. The YouTube is Count Out Wrestling Network. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're already there, so make sure you subscribe. And obviously, for the podcast feeds, all the audio goes up after the fact, after then. But YouTube is where you get to watch the live stream and the audio. Obviously, wherever you get podcasting is where you can get that. Count Out Network's got a lot of great stuff, like Ichiban Sweetcast, like Faces and Feels Cast, like Green Post Radio, like Jumping Knee Pod, like Stardom Road. We got a lot of great stuff on Count Out Network. A lot of great shows. So make sure you go check that out. We have a podcast feed just for the Count Out Network shows where you can subscribe to that and listen to everything. We also, I'm not done with my plugs, also have a Patreon, patreon.com/countoutpod. There's, I guess technically 3 tiers, but 2 tiers. There's a free membership tier that does have some content. There's a $3 tier and there's a $5 tier. The $5 tier gets you all of our audio. The $3 tier gets you a lot of all of the first episodes of series, and I think it's 3-year-old audio. And then the free membership gets you a monthly newsletter that gets put out. But some great stuff on there. Obviously, hasn't had an episode in a little bit, but the sweet spot it goes on the Patreon.
Okay. I invite you on my fucking show. You insult me. You come in my house and you fucking put your feet up on my couch. You son of a bitch.
But we have a lot of other great stuff that I've been doing on the Patreon. I believe Raffe has plugged it before. I believe you guys have plugged it before. A while ago, I did the best of Super Juniors, where I'm going to go over the finals. I'm going to continue that next year for the best of Super Juniors as well. The Ballot is a show that I've been doing all year long, where we talk about all of the new additions to the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame ballot that pops up every year. The very first episode that you could hear on the $3 tier or on the $5 tier is with Curtis, where we talked about the Hall of Fame candidacy of Zack Sabre Jr. And I remember distinctly in that episode when we talked about if he can win the title, that helps his candidacy out a lot. He just needed like that one thing. He's got the title. Let's see how the reign turns out. So I think he has a good shot. I don't know about this year, but definitely I think he's got a good shot in the future years. But we have a lot of episodes, 11 episodes out on the ballot about a bunch of candidates, first-time candidates, including Kento Miyahara with Gerard DiTrolio, Cody Rhodes, that is free on our feeds as well, with Scotty Edwards. We have Asuka from Alex from Stardom Quest. We have Bray Wyatt. Yes, he was on the ballot with Adam Berger. A very fun, interesting episode with Bray Wyatt. A lot of great stuff. A lot of other great content. Mascara Madness, The End Wondering. I covered that this year. The Great Birthday Bash. Cantrips and Clotheslines. A lot of great other audio is on here as well. And look, I'll also make this plea again. I would love if anyone can just also annoy Curtis. I've pitched him on ideas for him to add to the Patreon, like I believe a DDT show, or I think it was a Pride show as well. It's something that he has been interested in and just hasn't happened. Or his not wrestling poems, but your wrestling prose stories. Yeah. I love as well.
Story time with Curtis.
It's just you on Adam Cole's body. I've pitched that before, so I make that plea again to Curtis that maybe, hopefully, we'll one day have all that stuff on there as well. Whatever I can do to help, I can help. But if anyone else also just want to annoy Curtis, that'd be great. But a lot of great stuff on patreon.com/countoutpod. And every month I just started like a newsletter thing where we'll have other ideas, and that's on the free membership tier. You can also subscribe to the Patreon 7-day free trial to get all of this. You can listen to everything, and that's 7 days. Then it's a great deal for you. I think that's everything I got. I have a shit ton of plugs, obviously, but I think that is everything in my my Kishin Ryan bandolier for today.
And a gun,
and of course the gun.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much for showing up. And normally this is where I would do plugs for the Count Out Podcasting Network and the Count Out Patreon, but no. Okay, goodbye. We love everybody. Please follow the show on Instagram. We do have a Twitter. I think our Instagram automatically loads to Twitter anyway. So if you get Twitter there, you will see what I'm posting. You can follow me on Instagram or follow the show on Instagram at Ichiban Sweet. You can follow myself on Instagram and Threads, which is the new jam, I promise you, at El Destructo 83. You can follow Rafe at Faces Feels Cast on those, also on those various internets. And thank you very much, Ryan, for showing up. Thank you to Rafe for going to Japan.
Can I do one last plug?
Please do.
I believe on one of the next, I don't think it's this week, maybe in a couple weeks, there may be a similar voice on a Faces and Feels Cast episode, to talking about sort of my landscape of wrestling and all these sort of things.
Outstanding.
Down the line very soon. So that's my last
Check out
plug.
the Faces Feels Cast.
Faces and Feels Cast. There may be a similar voice with that bandolier and that gun. I do live in Georgia.
It happens.
That may be on Faces and Feels Cast down
I think
the line.
when you live in Georgia, they send you a gun in the mail.
Look, man. Look, November's around the corner. I gotta get ready. You never know what's gonna happen down over here.
It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be a wild time. My vote actually went back the other day to Georgia.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, my mom lives in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, so I got to.
Oh, so you got an important district.
It was an important district, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just in DeKalb County, so it's like basically just all Democrats, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, good, awesome. So no, I mean we don't have politics on this show.
No. Fuck that.
No. Fuck that, dude. Fuck that. Yeah. So you heard it here first. Fuck Donald Trump. Anyway, we're moving on to the end of the show. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
And we'll see you next time on the Ichiban Sweet Cast. Bye, Rafe. We'll see you soon. Next time, for a little teaser, how many belts does New Japan have, and do we need that many?
Ichiban. This has been a Count Out Podcast.
Hey, have you guys heard of the new show on the Count Out Network, the Ichiban Sweetcast?
It's the brand new New Japan Pro Wrestling podcast starring the International Wrestling Grand Prix. That's me, your good friend Curtis Spears.
And me, your bad friend Rafe Hewson. And we're here to talk about everything New Japan Pro Wrestling, reacting to everything, getting worked up, getting very happy, sometimes crying. Kind of like something else we used to do, right?
Oh, yeah. That was the old Okada Shorts podcast, right?
Ah, that's right. And if you love that show, you're going to love this show because it's exactly the same show.
Yeah, we just had to change the name.
Yeah, we did. But you can check it everywhere on a social media handle that we haven't made yet.
Yeah, we're really new to this. So what you can do is search on your favorite podcast catcher of choice. Look for the Ichiban Sweetcast.
Sweetcast, Ichiban.